let's move on to the next part, which is the final thing that you actually present to the audience. So no matter, how many sheets and dashboards you create throughout your workbook, the final thing that gets presented to the audience is the story. And what we are going to look at is what is a story and how do we build one story so that it can be presented as a slideshow. So the last icon that you see over here, which looks like a book, is the icon that will allow you to create a story. So let's click on this, and you see this is the canvas that we are reaching right now, where there are certain set of things that we will try to discuss before we try to pull up these sheets and dashboards to collate everything into a story. But remember one thing that, when you are looking at a story, it's more or less like a PowerPoint presentation. But the difference, of course, is that your story will be an interactive one, whereas your PowerPoint presentation will be like a static one, correct? But having said that, there are certain limitations also when it comes to a story. For example, in case of PowerPoint, you get to apply various effects onto the changes that happen into the slides, right? When you're moving from one slide to other, there are certain visual effects that you can add, which of course is not possible in Tableau. But the kind of interactiveness that you get, be it the filters or the tooltips and the labels, etc., all of those things are going to be there in case of Tableau, which of course you wouldn't find in case of a PowerPoint presentation, right? So that's the kind of difference and similarities that you have between a Tableau story versus a PowerPoint presentation. So having said that, let's move on towards the discussion of the user interface that is present in front of us for creating a story, where I want to highlight that we have a story pane here as well as a layout pane here, where on the story pane we see that there is something called as new story point, which allows you to add more blank slides or even duplicate the existing slides. So once we have something pulled up onto this first sheet here, you will see that the duplicate button will be enabled so that we can start duplicating our slides as well. Now below that, what you find is all of the sheets as well as the dashboards that you have created. So we have our 19 sheets here and the 3 dashboards that we have created. So all we need to do is drag and drop from here onto the slides that we have in this story. And just remember to include one sheet or a dashboard on one of the slide, because this is going to be like a slideshow, correct? So each sheet or a dashboard will be acting like one slide into your story. Apart from that, you also have the text object here, which can allow you to add some textual slides as well into the story. Like for example, adding a title page, or let's say a page in between where you are summarizing a lot of points together. So those kind of things can be incorporated with the help of the text object. Whether or not to show the title is what you can choose to check or uncheck. You can give a meaningful title here for the story, and more than that, you can also change the size of your story, right? And just like we discussed about the dashboards yesterday, where we should be choosing the size of the dashboard in such a way that it matches the resolution of your projector screen. The same way, the size for the story can also be set according to the resolution that you would like to match. So for now, I am choosing this as the size, where you can see I've enlarged the resolution here. So once that is set, we can start loading the sheets in order to create the PPT or the slideshow over here. However, you also have a layout pane over here, which allows you to decide how would be the navigation style when you navigate from one page to the other. So let's say this caption window or caption box that you see over here. For example, this caption box that you see over here is the default one that has been selected as the navigator, where you get such kind of caption boxes. And the benefit of having a caption box is that you can give a caption here, right? So when you are presenting and you decide to jump from one of the slide to some other slide, the caption will enable you to understand what is present on that slide where you're trying to jump onto, correct? So this caption boxes are usually a preferred option, but you also have some other navigation styles that you can use, where numbers is what you can apply to the various slides, like the page numbers. Similarly, you can also have dots. So let me do one thing. Let me add a couple of blank points so that you are able to see that dots clearly. So you can also go with the dots, or you can simply get the arrows in order to navigate you from the pages across this entire story that you will be creating. So these are the various options that you can have for the navigation style. I am fine with the very first option, which is the caption box, so that I can show you the caption effect that we can apply onto the slides. So let's go on to the story pane again, and let's try to build our story. I'm going on to the very first slide onto this story, and given that this is going to be the very first slide, let me add a text object here in order to create an introductory slide for this PPT. So let me just drag it here, and let's give it some meaningful title. Let's say Masterclass on Tableau, and I'll just pass my name here. Okay. All right, let me get the first letter capitalized. And there we go. So I can now select the text, apply whatever font size or font effect that I want to give. Let me just increase the font size to 24. I'll make it a little bold. Or if you want to change the color, feel free to do that. I want it center aligned, which it is. So let me click on OK. And this is the kind of box that we end up getting. So now I can place it wherever I want to. This will of course be a kind of floating object, so you can place it whenever you want. And apart from this text, you can also try to format the look and feel of this text box. So let's say if I right click onto this, I get the edit description, so that I can edit whatever text I had passed over here. But there is also format description, which is going to give me certain effects which I can apply to the box, the text box that we have got here. So the shading is 85% here, which we can probably try to increase, and you can choose whichever color you want. So given that my font was blue in color, I've used a very lighter shade of blue in the background. In case you want to give a maybe a border, you can decide what should be the type of the border, the thickness of the border, what color do you want to use, and so on and so forth. And this is the text box that I have got now. So you can edit it as per your requirement, and you can definitely include more text into this. I'm just trying to give you a glimpse of how the text object can actually be added as part of your story. Correct? And once you are done formatting, let's get rid of this format box over here, so that we get the actual story pane once again. And now that this slide is ready, I can actually add a caption here. Okay, let's say that this is the title page. So now when I am presenting it to the audience, I'll get to see this caption on the top, so that whenever I want to jump onto any other slide into the story, I will be able to see the caption and accordingly jump. So it makes it easy to me to understand what is present on which of the slide, and navigate accordingly. So this is the very first slide that we have created. So now let's try to add more slides into this. We have already added a couple of them, so we can use them directly, or else if you don't want them, you feel free to delete those particular slides also from the story. Okay. So currently I'm just trying to build a story where we will just try to add more and more sheets and dashboards in order to make it a little more visually appealing. Okay. But remember that a story is, as I said, the final product that we will be showcasing in front of the audience, and it definitely need not include everything. So what I'm trying to tell you here is that your actual workbook could consist of hundreds of sheets and 10 or 20 dashboards as such, but your final story could actually just be about 10 sheets and maybe just about 5 dashboards as such. So not everything that is present in your workbook has to be a part of your story. You can have those rest of the sheets ready, available into the workbook, so that whenever you face certain questions, you have those answers present onto those sheets and you can easily navigate and discuss. So that is the whole point regarding the story. So now that we have created a title page, let's try to add some sheets onto this, and I'll just randomly pick up some of the sheets. Maybe we would have used some of them already into the dashboard, but ignoring that fact, let me add some of the sheets here. So this one is definitely present in my dashboard, so I'll just try to remove this one. Okay, so let me just go on to this and click on the cross button here so as to remove. Okay, let me add a blank point and let me pull up some other sheet apart from this one. So yeah, let me drag this one here, and then again let me add the blank point so that we go on to the next slide, and let me add this line graph here and another blank point, and maybe I can pick up some map related graph, and I'll keep on doing this activity till the time I'm including all the necessary sheets into my dashboard that I've tried creating. Okay, so dragging another one here, and let me just try pulling up the dashboards as well. Okay, so I'm just adding the first dashboard, then the second one, and then the third one by adding a new blank point every time. So this is it. Okay, so I've tried adding all the required sheets and dashboards into the story, and you can see I haven't selected everything. So as I said, I could have many sheets, but the story could only hold those important ones which I want to showcase to the audience. Okay, so now that this entire story is ready, I can probably try adding one final text object here in order to maybe end this. Okay, like end of the project, or let's say thank you slide is what I'm trying to add over here. So let me give it some effect once again, and I'm making this as semi bold. Let me change the size, the color, and yeah, that's it. I think this is the object, and let me place it here into the center, and there we go. So this is where I have started off the story with an introductory message which was present as part of the text object. Then we had a certain number of sheets and dashboards put into the story in the form of slides, and then the final text object again that is just a thank you message. And you can see all of these caption boxes are available on the top. Although I haven't named each one of them meaningfully, you can definitely do that, so that as I said, when you at the runtime try to jump on to the other slides, you know what is present on that particular slide, correct? And once you are ready with the final story, all you need to do is you need to click on this presentation mode that is present onto the toolbar, and this will start your presentation, correct? So go on to the very first page, which is the title page, and this is the look and feel that you will get. Now, of course, this is based on whatever is the resolution of my laptop screen, but we can try adjusting this, as I said, with respect to the projector screen, so that it is clearly visible onto the projector screen, as well as it matches the resolution such that it looks like a full screen mode. So once you are onto this, all you need to do is use the arrow buttons on your keyboard, and you can navigate to the next slide, and you can walk through the entire slideshow. So now if you see, when I am onto a particular slide over here, and when I hover over this graph, you see the tooltip information, right? It is interactive. You also get to see the legends that have been applied onto this particular graph. Similarly, for the next graph, you can see I can hover over and I can, manipulate the and understand the data over here. And the same thing is applied over here also. You can see the color legend being present here. This was the sheet where we had applied the pages card, right, in order to bring in the motion into this map. So as soon as I hit the play button, you can see it starts changing the values for us in order to show us how, you know, the sales were done over the period of time across these 4 years from 2021 to 2024. So all of these things can be, you know, incorporated with the help of the story. So all those effects that we apply onto those individual sheets will come along when you pull up those sheets into the dashboard or even into the story. Okay, this was another sheet that we had added. This was again a static kind of a graph, but remember, you can highlight certain you know, kind of categories here as well. Like for example, I want the audience to focus upon the storage category, which I am currently talking about. I will just highlight it and it will be you know, highlighted, and the rest of the values will get faded out then, which in turn will allow the audience to focus on what I am trying to discuss. So all of that functionality is available, and the dashboards that we incorporated. Now you can see the size of my dashboard is, you know, not matching the resolution correctly. So I definitely need to work upon that. But because as I told you that, you know, getting scroll bars at the time of presentation is usually not the best practice of visualization. Everything should fit into the view so that, you know, you are able to see everything at once. But yeah, having said that, let me tell you that the filters that we had applied are still available with us into the story, so we can use it at the runtime. Apart from that, the interactive dashboard objects that we had included are all available here. You can see the internal web browser that we tried to set is a dynamic object, and I can still navigate through it the way I want to. Correct? So that is working fine. Even the image that we had, you know, added onto the dashboard was a kind of hyperlink. So if I click onto that, you can see it is navigating me to the Tableau's official website, which was the URL action that we associated with it. Similarly, if I click onto this navigation button, it will allow me to go on to that sheet 5, which was associated with it. So I can easily do that. I can also download the PDF with the help of this dialog box. For now, I'm cancelling this because this is a lengthy PDF that it tries to download. But yeah, you can do this kind of things because of the interactive objects that you have, you know, added onto the dashboard. So all of those things are, you know, readily available to be used as part of the story as well. And this was our final third dashboard that we had created, where we tried to associate those dashboarding actions, right? All of those actions are available now as well. If I try to hover over any of the state, you can see the same state is getting filtered out in the target sheet. If I try to, you know, highlight any of the state, you can see the same state, Alberta in our case, is getting highlighted across both the graphs over here. And similarly, if I, you know, click onto this and go on to the menu option, you can see the link that we had created, which will navigate us to the Wikipedia page for that particular state, is still active. And when I click on it, it will definitely open up the local browser, whichever is your default browser, and it will take me to the Wikipedia page of Alberta. So all of those things that we had associated at the sheet level or at the dashboard level are available for us to use even at the runtime while we are presenting the story. And yes, finally the last slide, which says thank you. So this is where we finish off with our story presentation. And remember, story, as I said, is the final thing, so it has to be a very good one, an impressive one that you know, is able to convey all of the meaningful insights that you wanted to share while you talk upon the data. So most of the time when we try to create stories using Tableau, we try adding lesser theory or text part into it, because we like to do more of the talking with the help of the tooltip information that we can highlight, or with the help of the filters that will allow us to filter out the data and talk upon certain aspects that we would like to highlight and talk upon in front of the managers or the stakeholders. So people usually prefer having lesser text and more of graphical representation. But I just wanted to highlight to you that a story is ideally a combination of text, images, your sheets, your dashboards, all together put into a final product which is ideally supposed to be presented. So this is how you can create a story, and although we did not try duplicating anything, the duplicate button will just allow you to let's say duplicate a particular sheet. So let's say, for example, I'm currently onto this sheet and I try to click onto the duplicate button. You will see that this slide has been duplicated now. Correct? Before I go on to the new slide, you get to see this same slide appearing twice. In case you don't want it, you can try to eliminate it. So this is all about the story or the final product that you will be creating, and the story also gets stored into the same Tableau workbook where all your sheets and dashboards are residing, so that you can use this story at the runtime and you can talk upon all the possible insights that you would like to share with your audience. So that's it about the story that we can create. So now, all in all, we have tried exploring a lot of things with respect to the Tableau desktop. And just to highlight and reiterate on all of the things that we have covered so far, let me tell you that we have worked upon the data pane so far, right? We will try out the analytics pane as the next thing. But so far we have tried working on to the data pane, where we started off with the understanding of how to connect to different data sources and load the data in Tableau, how to work upon pulling those variables and creating those visualizations in Tableau, how to change the chart types, how to customize the graphs with the help of the marks card and the various options available there. We also tried out different types of graphs and charts. Apart from that, we also saw how to work upon some additional features like sorting the data, grouping the data, working on the hierarchies that Tableau offers you to implement in the data. And we also saw how we can use some quick table calculations, and apart from that, how can we create our own calculated fields as well to be used in the Tableau graphs. And we also saw the most important thing, which is related to the filtering of the data, because it's not the entire data that we would always want to have into our graphs and charts, correct? So we tried doing all of that, after which we focused upon working on the dashboards, where we tried 3 examples about collating the sheets together, about collating the objects together, as well as applying some dashboarding actions onto the sheets. So that was about the dashboards, after which we moved on towards building the story, which was the final part that we have discussed. So that is all about the data pane that we have over here into the Tableau desktop. And I think we have covered pretty much a lot of things here. And the next thing that we will try to move on towards is the analytics pane, where I will try to show you some things related to some quick analysis that we can do on the data. And apart from that, the kind of modeling that we can do on the data. But even before we move on towards that discussion, I would just like to ensure that I am saving this file, so that all of my work that I have done in this Tableau workbook is safe and saved, so that I can review it at a later stage.
Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and comment on the concept you want to learn next.